Decluttering feels a lot like trying to drain a bathtub while the faucet is still running. You scoop, 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 and before you know it, the water's back up to the rim. That's exactly what happens at home when you're constantly tidying. But new things keep sneaking in. The secret isn't just cleaning faster, it's turning off the faucet. Now, I want you to picture your own space for a second. You might have a tidy kitchen counter today, but if you come home tomorrow with a bag of bargain knickknacks or that set of mugs you don't really need, the counter will vanish again. We've all done it. One just-in-case item becomes 2, then 10, and suddenly the clutter multiplies like rabbits. The real shift happens when you stop the inflow. That's the piece hardly anyone talks about. And here's where I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from? I'm always curious how different homes, different corners of the world handle the exact same struggles. So let's talk mindset for a moment. Every time you're about to bring something new into your home, pause and ask, do I truly need it? Or am I just trying to solve a maybe? A just-in-case sweater, an extra spatula, a 5th candle because it was on sale. These tiny choices add up. You know that one closet or drawer that seems to regenerate overnight? It's not magic. It's inflow. And here's a thought. What if you pause shopping for a week? No extras, no bargains, just groceries and true necessities. You'd be surprised at how calm your home feels when it's not absorbing a steady stream of random things. It's like your rooms can finally breathe. Now, I'm not saying never buy anything fun again. I'm saying let the fun be intentional. Choose things you'll use and love, not things that will slide into a dark cupboard. Imagine you're the gatekeeper of your own home. Every item at the door should pass a test. Would I buy this today, full price, if it wasn't on sale? Have I actually needed something like this in the past year? If the answer is no, don't let it cross the threshold. And trust me, this one change can save you hours later. Because let's be honest, you can declutter all weekend, but if Monday you're hauling in more, you're back at square one. And honestly, who has time for that? If you're nodding along, this is a perfect moment to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next round of smart homemaking tricks. We're just warming up here. So we've turned off the faucet. What's next? Instead of feeling pressured to do giant marathon cleanouts, I want you to think smaller, much smaller. What if just 15 minutes a day could completely transform your space in a week? No joke, it works. And I'll explain exactly how. But before we go there, let me ask you, do you already keep an eye on what comes into your home? Or is this a new way of looking at clutter for you? All right, so we've closed the tap on clutter sneaking in. Now comes the fun part, quick wins. And when I say quick, I mean the kind of wins you can see in just minutes. The trick is to stop thinking of decluttering as an all-day marathon and start treating it like short sprints. 15 minutes tops. That's all you need to start feeling lighter at home. One of my favorite hacks is what I call trash bag therapy. You literally grab a big garbage bag, walk through your house, and toss in anything that's obvious junk. Old receipts, dried up pens, empty packaging, that expired coupon hiding under the magnet on your fridge. You don't stop to think or sort. You just scoop up the obvious clutter. It's oddly satisfying, like taking out mental trash at the same time. And the best part, you'll see results right away. Now, for the stuff that isn't technically garbage but doesn't belong where it is, keep a simple rehome box. Let's say you're in the living room and you find socks, a coffee mug, and your keys from last week. Toss them in the box. When your 15 minutes are up, that's when you go around and put those things back where they belong. It keeps you moving instead of getting stuck zigzagging from room to room. And speaking of things piling up where they shouldn't, let's be honest, every family has that one mystery pile of stuff no one claims. Kids drop their toys, someone leaves mail or you've got random gadgets that seem to multiply overnight. Here's where a clutter drop zone, or what I like to call the crap basket, comes in. It's just a basket, bin, or box in a convenient spot where everything that doesn't have a home goes temporarily. Once a week, you sort it. That way, clutter has a safe landing pad instead of spreading across every flat surface. To keep your energy up, set a timer. It's amazing how much you can do when the clock is ticking. You can do 15 minutes for a whole room, or even 5 minutes per room if you're in the mood for a speed round. It becomes a game. Let's see how much I can clear before the buzzer. Suddenly, decluttering doesn't feel heavy. It feels like a challenge. And speaking of challenges, here's a little curiosity gap for you. Which surface would you clear first if I gave you just 5 minutes right now? The kitchen counter, the entryway table, or maybe that coffee table that seems to attract everything but coffee? Here's another hack for when you're stuck. The maybe box. It's a box for things you can't decide about on the spot. You just toss them in, keep moving, and promise yourself you'll revisit later. It's a lifesaver for decision fatigue, because sometimes you just don't know if you're ready to part with that sweater or that extra kitchen gadget. Better to keep momentum than stall out. And if you want the big results fast, hit the 80-20 zones first. That means the areas that give you 80% of the visual impact with 20% of the effort. Counters, tables, the top of the fridge, that chair in the bedroom that's become a clothing mountain. When those are clear, the whole room feels instantly calmer, even if the closet's still a disaster. You might be surprised how these little tricks add up. A trash bag here, a 5-minute timer there, and suddenly your home starts to shift without those exhausting deep clean weekends. It's like stacking tiny wins until they snowball into something huge. By the way, are you someone who already works well with timers, or do you usually lose track of time when you're tidying? And while you're thinking about that, don't forget to like this video if you're enjoying these quick, doable tips. It helps spread the word to others who might be feeling buried in their own clutter. Now, once you've mastered these quick wins, the next hurdle is making actual decisions. Because let's face it, sometimes the hardest part isn't tossing trash. It's letting go of the things you're holding on to out of guilt or what if. That's where some powerful rules come in, and they'll change the way you declutter forever. Let's talk about the part that trips most of us up. Making decision. Because it's one thing to toss out old receipts or move a mug back to the kitchen, but what about the sweater your aunt gave you that still has the tags? Or that bread maker you swore you'd use every week 2 years ago? This is where decluttering goes from easy to emotional. Here's a rule that helps cut through all the noise. The ruthless sentiment rule. If an item doesn't spark a clear yes, it's a no. No long debates. No, maybe someday. Ask yourself 2 quick questions. Have I used this in the past year? And would I buy it again today at full price? If the answer to either is no, that's your decision. And I know it can feel harsh, but it's also freeing. You stop giving clutter the power to nag at you every time you open a closet. Now I get it. Sentimental stuff is tricky. We all have boxes of keepsakes that feel impossible to let go of. One trick that works wonders: take a photo. That way, you keep the memory, not the dust. You'll still have the smile that item brings, but you don't need to store every single concert ticket or school project forever. Honestly, sometimes the photo ends up being more meaningful because you actually look at it instead of forgetting the item in a box in the attic. And let's touch on another sticking point: trying to sell everything. I know the temptation. You look at a pile of clothes or old gadgets and think, well, I could make a little money back. But here's the reality. Selling slows you down. You have to list the item, wait for replies, haggle, maybe meet someone across town. And meanwhile, the stuff is still sitting in your house. Donating is instant relief. You let go, someone else benefits, and your home feels lighter immediately. That peace of mind, priceless. Of course, while you're making all these decisions, it's ridiculously easy to get sidetracked. You pick up an old picture frame and suddenly you're dusting shelves or scrubbing the corner of the window. It happens to the best of us. But decluttering and cleaning are not the same thing. Cleaning is about shining and scrubbing. Decluttering is about removing. If you can, put on what I like to call mental blinders. Ignore the dust. Ignore the cobweb in the corner. Right now, you're not cleaning. You're clearing space. The shine can come later. And I have to ask, do you ever find yourself going in with the goal of decluttering but ending up on a full cleaning spree instead? Because I know I've lost a whole afternoon that way. Here's the good news. Once you get the hang of these rules, your decision-making speeds up. You stop second-guessing, stop negotiating with yourself, and start trusting your gut. And the more you practice, the easier it gets. At some point, you'll realize that every drawer and closet holds less stress because you've stopped storing what ifs. And here's a little secret. Decluttering actually gets fun when you take away the heavy thinking. You start noticing the small wins, the lighter shelves, the clearer floor, that little moment when you walk into a room and it just feels calmer. And to keep that momentum going, it helps to add a little motivation and joy into the process. That way, you don't just declutter, you actually enjoy it. And yes, that's possible. Here's where we flip the script a little. Decluttering doesn't have to be a chore that you dread. In fact, if you set it up right, it can actually be enjoyable, something you look forward to instead of avoiding. Sounds impossible? Stick with me. First trick, bring in music. Not just background noise. Pick something that makes you move, a podcast, an upbeat playlist, even an audiobook you've been meaning to get through. Suddenly, those 15 minutes fly by. And let's be honest, who hasn't busted a little dance move in the middle of folding laundry or clearing a table? You're not alone. It happens to all of us. Another way to keep it light is to gamify the process. Create a little bingo card with decluttering challenges. Clear 5 old receipts, empty a drawer, toss 3 expired items from the fridge. Each time you hit a square, it feels like a win. Or set yourself a silly challenge. Can I find 10 things to donate in under 5 minutes? It's amazing how your brain lights up when you turn it into a game instead of a task. Before and after photos are another secret weapon. Snap a quick picture of your cluttered counter or closet, then snap another when you've cleared it. The difference is like night and day, and seeing that side-by-side proof keeps you motivated. Sometimes the photo shows more progress than your eyes notice in real time. It's also fun to look back a month later and realize how far you've come. Now, let's talk about rewards. This part matters more than you'd think. After each decluttering session, give yourself a little treat. It doesn't have to be big, just something that marks the win. Maybe it's a hot cup of tea in your newly cleared living room. Maybe it's 10 minutes with a book or even a walk outside. That reward tells your brain, hey, this feels good, let's do it again. And when something feels good, you're far more likely to keep it going. Here's the beauty of all this. When you make decluttering fun, it stops being this endless mountain in your mind. It becomes a series of small, doable steps that give you little sparks of joy along the way. You'll actually look forward to the next round instead of dreading it. So let me ask, have you ever tried adding music or games to your decluttering, or do you usually tackle it in silence? These little motivation boosters are what turn a temporary cleanup into a habit you'll stick with. And once you've got the habit, you're not just clearing space, you're keeping it clear. And that's where the real transformation happens, because when clutter doesn't creep back, your home finally feels easy to maintain. That's what we'll wrap up with next. The simple habits that keep all your progress from unraveling. The real magic isn't in the big decluttering sessions, it's in the consistency. Those short daily bursts are what keep your home light and easy. 15 minutes a day or even 5 minutes per room is enough to keep clutter from ever building back up. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't wait until things get really bad. You just do it regularly so it never becomes overwhelming. And here's the thing, those little wins add up fast. Every clear counter, every drawer that actually opens smoothly, every room that feels calmer, it all reinforces the habit. The more you notice those moments, the easier it is to keep going. It's not about chasing perfection. It's about creating spaces that feel comfortable and easy to live in. Now, don't forget to celebrate your progress. Maybe it's sitting down in your clutter-free chair with a good book or enjoying your kitchen without piles on the counter. These moments are proof that your effort is paying off. Give yourself credit because you earned it. Here's a fun way to keep the momentum. Pick one zone and commit to starting there. Is it your counters that need a reset? Your closet that's hiding way too many just-in-case outfits? Or that one haunted drawer we all pretend doesn't exist? Start with one, enjoy the difference, and you'll be surprised how motivated you feel to move on to the next. And remember, consistency doesn't mean you never miss a day. Life happens. The trick is to come back to it. Even 5 minutes counts. Over time, those little bits of effort create a home that feels calm, clear, and so much easier to manage. So here's my challenge for you. Right after this video, choose one small spot and give it just 15 minutes. No marathon, no overwhelm, just one short session. Then notice how the space feels different. That feeling is what will keep you going. If you've enjoyed this series of tips, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next set of homemaking ideas. There's always another simple way to make life at home a little easier, a little calmer, and a whole lot lighter. So, where will you begin today? Counters, closets, or that haunted drawer?